The Marvel Cinematic Universe in a lot of ways mirrors 616, but with a more finite sense of time for us to enjoy these characters. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Already in the past now 13 years, the MCU just turned 13 on May the 2nd, which was the release date for Iron Man way back in 2008. We have seen so many characters come and go, it's fun to look back and pick out which heroes we think are the most mighty. Also, happy birthday, MCU! I cannot believe you are 13! Join me today as we celebrate and count down the top 10 most powerful MCU superheroes. Whee! Let's get counting. Number 10, Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau really only ranks so low because of her inexperience thus far in the MCU. I mean, she just got her powers and we don't really fully understand what she is capable of yet. If we turn to the comics, we see that Monica is extremely powerful. She can turn her body into any different form of energy that she chooses. We got a glimpse of this near the end of WandaVision, where it was also implied that she gained her power from moving through Wanda's force field multiple times, which changed her physiology on a cellular level. I'm still really excited for all that is to come with Monica, though I am sure her powers will continue to grow over time. I'm also interested to see how her inevitable reunion with Captain Marvel will end up going whenever that happens. And I know it'll happen eventually. Number 9, Vision. Another hero who has proven to be extremely powerful and resilient is Vision, and by extension, White Vision, his current form. Vision was brought to life using Tony Stark's AI, Jarvis, a bit of Ultron, and mixed together with a bit of Tony Stark and Bruce Banner's mind, given life by the energy provided by Thor's hammer, and of course the Infinity Gem referred to as the Mind Stone. Can we also just acknowledge how Vision and Wanda's ship was set up from the very beginning? Just look at that lingering shot on Wanda's reaction. She gets like a 3-second reaction shot there. Vision was powerful enough to take down and defeat his sort of father, Ultron, and managed to survive having the Mind Stone ripped out of him after the events of Infinity War, thanks to Sword rebuilding him and Wanda's chaos magic giving him new life. This true version of Vision would go on to fight Wanda's creation, but even then the Visions would prove evenly matched, proving as well how powerful Vision's mind was when the version built from Wanda's memories and magic defeated the true Vision with a metaphysics thought experiment. If that ain't some power, I do not know what is. Number 8, Captain America. It might seem strange that I'm putting our new Captain America, Falcon, aka Sam Wilson, above Vision, but I just truly believe that Sam has the ingenuity to take down almost anything that stands in his way. Sure, he might just be immortal with cool wings, and I mean, not a crazy powerful android, but he's also proven to us in his own series that you don't need to be a super soldier to save the day. And I'm confident that he has the determination and the amazing speech-giving skills to get himself out of pretty much almost any situation. Seriously, when it comes to tactics and leadership, Sam has proven himself to be one of the best. Definitely a hero for us to all be proud of when it comes to his new title. Sam was trained in the use of his Exo-7 Falcon wings, which he used on missions with the Air National Guard. Later on, when he joined the Avengers, Tony Stark made him his own pair, and while those were torn to shreds by super soldier John Walker, aka US Agent, the former government-selected Captain America, Bucky called in a favor from Wakanda, who rebuilt the wings and a suit for Wilson to use in his new role as Captain America. And Wakandan tech is pretty sweet, especially if you have someone as powerful as Sam Wilson piloting it. Falcon also comes equipped with his super smart and handy drone, Red Wing. Number 7, Black Panther. When you mess with Black Panther, you're kinda also taking on all of Wakanda. And Wakanda, you do not want to mess with them. Black Panther, even operating alone, is fierce enough. T'Challa is a highly skilled and experienced fighter and someone who never gives up. And I know what you might be thinking, but wait a minute, Amanda, Killmonger managed to take him down. And yes, you're right, that did happen, but that only happened because T'Challa was actually holding back. He didn't want to kill Killmonger, he wanted him to yield. And regardless of the outcome of that fight, T'Challa survived and pulled through because of the respect that he inspires in other tribes. And even someone who you might consider to be his enemy, M'Baku, couldn't bring himself to let Black Panther die. Black Panther's true strength also comes from his ability to listen to those around him and to know when to ask for support or for help. He relies on others and listens to what they have to say, which has made him a great and progressive ruler and hero. Number 6, Thor. When armed with his hammer or his axe, Thor has proven to be a powerful foe to come up against. He can control his hammer, Mjolnir, using it to kind of fly through the sky and also to attack multiple enemies at once, sometimes weaving it through his enemies, sometimes bouncing it off his enemies. It grants him even more strength than he already has. Without it, Thor has proven to be, well, not quite as powerful, until he discovered and came to accept that the power he wields actually comes from within himself, and that his weapon is more something that he can then channel that power through. I mean, he is the god of thunder after all, so yeah. However, this only happens much later on in his character development. After losing his hammer, Thor gets Stormbreaker, his axe. He almost successfully uses that axe to single-handedly eliminate Thanos. If only he had been smart enough to think about where best to aim. Should have gone for the head. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it where we dive into the MCU, please let us know by giving this video a thumbs up and maybe ask for a part 2 in the comments if you want it. I got more powerful heroes that I want to talk about from the MCU. Number 5, Hulk. Who could be stronger than Thor, you ask? Why, of course, none other than Hulk. Not only is Hulk powerful, but later on he becomes the perfect marriage of intelligence and strength when he becomes Professor Hulk. Even with his two sides of himself separate, though, he is still a force to be reckoned with. Hulk is one of the most powerful heroes out there, with only Black Widow really being able to defeat the Beast by soothing his rage, allowing Banner to return. In fact, I'm very disappointed in myself that I did not put Black Widow above the Hulk. I should have done that. Black Widow's move is a move that Thor himself tried and failed to use while fighting against him in a gladiatorial match on Sakaar. Hulk had come to Sakaar after the events of Age of Ultron, at first becoming somewhat stranded there, but then basically choosing to stay and becoming the Grandmaster's champion. And he was definitely worthy of that title. Number 4, Groot. While Hulk is impressive, unlike in the comics, he is not immortal. But you know who is virtually immortal? Groot, my favorite of the Guardians of the Galaxy team. Groot can regrow himself as long as there is a piece of him to grow back from. Not only that, but Groot is fierce, even when he's a little baby version of himself. And for a hero, he likely has the highest kill count in comparison to the others we've met in the MCU. Except maybe Black Widow, I don't know, but Groot's probably been around for a lot longer. I don't know how old he is in the MCU, but I'm pretty sure he's really old. Groot typically defeats his enemies by binding them, smacking them, or simply growing through them. Yikes. He's definitely not a hero you'd want to play villain to, that is for certain. Not only is he powerful in terms of fighting, but he is also good at defending as well. Without Groot, the whole team of Guardians would not have made it through to the end of that first adventure. His branches managed to shield their fall and prevent them from becoming injured as Ronan's ship crash landed on Xandar. Number 3, Captain Marvel. I mean, let's be real. Captain Marvel was created to be one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. She took a headbutt straight from Thanos and did not even flinch. It took Thanos using the Power Stone to even really do damage to her. Forget about of Carol Danvers' own standalone Origins film, we actually didn't even see her operating at full power. She was given a chip by the Kree that basically limited her powers. Once she removed that, she was powerful enough to destroy a ton of ballistic warheads and a Kree warship all by herself and make the Kree accusers leave Earth, intimidating them. And she did all this just after discovering her powers, so this is Carol when she's inexperienced and likely isn't aware of the upper limits yet of what her powers are. We've probably still just scratched the surface when it comes to the true extent of Captain Marvel's power levels and capabilities in the MCU, which is why I cannot wait for the second Captain Marvel movie. Can't wait to see Captain Marvel kicking butt. Number 2, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has to be one of the most powerful characters around in the MCU still. And I'm not just saying that because of my love of magic, though I do love magic and I think it's pretty OP. Doctor Strange can see into the future, or at least he could see into the future when he had the Time Stone. He's taken on the evil and immensely powerful Dormammu and won. And while we haven't seen as much of him lately, I'm excited to check out what's up in the Multiverse of Madness and finally get to see him protecting Earth and possibly the universe, or multiverse, against whatever massive threat is headed our way next. I'm sure even between films, when he wasn't dust at least, he was still super busy. I wonder who the Sorcerer Supreme actually was in his absence, when he was dust. I feel like we need a show that just tells us about the time when people were dust and what that was like, because I feel like that could be a cool show. I don't know what we call it. The time between the blip, time after the blip, I don't know. Number 1. Scarlet Witch. Finally getting her own superhero name in her own streaming series on Disney+, WandaVision, gifted to her by Agatha Harkness, we have Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. And finally, Wanda's power has been acknowledged as well in the MCU. We were all waiting for it. Wanda originally showed up on the scene wielding, well, kinda like light hands. That's what she had going for her originally. Almost appearing as energy blasts or like telekinesis initially. Although don't forget those awesome mind flicks. Remember those? Gotta love a good mind flick. I'm gonna flick you in the brain. Wanda seemed to be able to influence people's thoughts and actions, tapping into their minds and bringing out some of their worst nightmares. In WandaVision though, we'd also learn that her powers were connected to chaos and chaos magic and enabled her to alter and bend reality to her will, which means she is one of the most powerful heroes out there. In fact, she's destined to become more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Hence why I put her at number 1. Who do you think are some of the most powerful heroes in the MCU? Would you like to see a part 2 to this list? Who are some of your favorite MCU villains? Let us know in the comments below. So many awesome villains. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.